Y'all ready? Ready. We're going to call the meeting to order and we'll ask that you stand for the blessing and the pledge of allegiance. Bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the beauty surrounding us this spring with the blooming flowers, the new green on the trees and on the grass, Lord. It reminds us of renewal, of a fresh start, and all of those which we receive through your grace. Lord, we ask that you be with us as we make important decisions for this city, and that we behave in a way that makes you proud of us. Lord, we ask you to be with our local lawmakers, our state, as well as federal, as they make decisions that affect us on a daily basis. We ask that you be with our armed forces, both domestically and overseas, and watch over their families here. And we just ask that you bless them because of the sacrifices they make for all of us. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I knew I heard that.
All right. Madam Clerk, we ask that you perform the roll call.
Alderwoman Hall,
Here.
Alderman Frazier,
Right here.
Alderwoman Irving,
Here.
Alderman Davis,
Here.
Alderman Maroney.
Here.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, all are present and accounted for.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And then we will start with the approval of minutes. The March 11th regular board meeting approval. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Ask that you call for the question. All in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the March 17th minutes from the special call executive session. I ask for a motion to approve these minutes.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Call for the question.
Go.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. We welcome any visitors. We welcome you all that are watching us on Facebook Live. We appreciate your attendance and caring enough to see what happens with our city business tonight. We are going to, don't see any county business. Is there any old city business? We will start then with department directors' reports. We have Mr. James Johnson, our community development director.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Good evening.
I'd like to defer this first item to Mr. Jimmy Smith, a local real estate developer, and Trey Hess, an environmental consultant with PPM, to discuss the redevelopment of Trace Town.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Hess and Mr. Smith, for being here this evening. We appreciate it.
Good to see you guys again. As you know, Jimmy Smith is here in town, and obviously it's good to see brownfield redevelopments happen, homegrown, those kinds of things. And I think 2 weeks ago when I was up here talking about the Fry building property and some of that, that's a great public sector of opportunity there. This one is a private sector project, which is really encouraging because that brings growth, it brings jobs, those kind of things to town. As you know, there's the Trace Town property over there, and what Jimmy has done, and really part of this is to be able to get the private sector to take advantage of some of the incentives out there to really redevelop properties, because let's face it, when it comes to cleaning up sites, there's risk, there's financial risk and those kinds of things. And so what you have before you is there is a law out there that was created back in 2008. It's the Mississippi Economic Redevelopment Act, and it was expanded in 2013 to try to encourage private sector redevelopments. And this will be the first one in Natchez, Mississippi. So it's kind of an exciting thing. I mean, if you think about it, you guys have done brownfield grants. You are applying for the revolving loan fund, be the first one in the state there. This is a private sector incentive to be able to redevelop the property over there at Trace Town. And so with that, one of the things you have to do is you have to get the city's blessing on the area associated with that. So I'm gonna kind of, you've got this in your packets. I'm gonna read this for the record, just so you guys can get the context of it. And then Jimmy, obviously, you would just kind of share what the vision is for the area. But so Trace Town Redevelopment LLC, the developer, has received approval of its corrective action plan from the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality for the cleanup of Phase 1 of the Tracetown Shopping Center redevelopment project that we call the Tracetown 1 Brownfield Project. DEQ has reviewed the information, has determined that the planned remediation will be conducted in a manner that is protective of human health and the environment, and intends to reach a brownfield agreement with the developer for the remediation of the 3.5 acre tract with a brownfield agreement referred to as the redevelopment project area. The Mississippi Economic Redevelopment Act promotes redevelopment by providing an incentive to defray the remediation costs associated with the cleaning up of the site. These redevelopments constitute the performance of essential public purpose, which protects and promotes the public health, safety, and welfare. And pursuant to the guidelines of the Economic Redevelopment Act, the city is required to establish the property as described in attachment Exhibit A of what you've got there for the redevelopment project area. In other words, where is the area that's going to be getting the incentive base associated with this project? And you must then turn it from that, enter a development agreement with the developer, where the developer ensures that he's meeting city code, meeting ordinances, those kinds of things as well. And then that will be taken to the Mississippi Development Authority, along with the agreement with Mississippi DEQ for the approval of this redevelopment area. And so it is recommended the city approve the resolution that you have in front of you, establishing that redevelopment project area for the Tracetown 1 Brownfield project.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Call for the question.
Call.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed?
Madam Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
we need a roll call vote on this.
Absolutely. Please proceed.
Alderwoman Hall.
Aye.
Alderman Frazier.
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving.
Aye.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Appreciate it.
So now you've established the first piece of that, which is the redevelopment area. The second part is the actual development agreement. And so under that, you have in front of you a development agreement that basically breaks out that the purpose is to state the obligations of the parties to the agreement for the property to be done in accordance with your zoning and planning ordinances, permitting requirements, and the reimbursement of the remediation costs of that project, subject to the brownfield agreement with Mississippi DEQ. And so it is recommended the city approve the developer's agreement establishing the obligations of the parties for development and cleanup of the property.
A motion that we accept this.
I move we accept that.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
Yes,
Yes, Alderman.
I just want to ask, had the city attorney looked at all of this,
Yes,
just for you to
in
share?
consultation with Mr. Hess, we're familiar with it.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion?
One question.
If there's no other discussion. Okay, yes, all in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes. Do we need a roll call
We
on
do
this
need a
as
roll
well?
call on that one as
Thank
well.
you. Go ahead.
Alderwoman Hall.
Aye.
Alderman Frazier.
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving.
Aye.
Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any
And
questions?
I just want to thank you, Mr. Smith, real quickly, because this property sat for so long with an out-of-town owner and who was approached many, many times to do something to help Natchez, and a local person bought it and has now taken that action. And I
This is the
know,
first phase. We'll be back for the second.
well,
Thank you.
we're excited about that.
Thank
You appreciate that.
Yes, I didn't get a copy.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't get a copy either, so.
And is there anyone else? We appreciate both of you. You have anything else to add?
I can email you one.
I have
She got
one good share a copy with you.
All right, we will proceed. All right, Mr. Johnston, you're still on.
I will be brief. 2023 EPA cleanup grant for Fry Building and adjacent parking lot. Staff is requesting a motion to attend the 2025 National Brownfields Training Conference scheduled for August 5th through 8th in Chicago, Illinois. Travel registration, lodging, etc., is an eligible and reimbursable expense under this grant award.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, Alderwoman Irving?
So will be you, Mr. Johnston?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Yearly and 6-month general supply bids, April 1st through March 31st, 2026. At the request of Natchez Public Works, staff is requesting a motion to accept the general supply bids for the period April 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All right, we'll ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
My next item, which we discussed earlier with members of the board, change order number 5, Duncan Park Golf Clubhouse Restoration Phase 1, 2021 REC bond issue, 2022 capital improvements bond issue. Hope Enterprises has requested a time extension for the Phase 1 restoration due to the following circumstances. Exterior work. The fiberglass cornice was delivered to the project site on March 12th, 2025, despite the manufacturer's previous expected delivery date of February 3rd. Based on a previous acceptance of 30 calendar days post-delivery through approved change order number 1 to complete the exterior work, Belinda Stewart Architects recommends an extension of 21 days on the exterior work for a new exterior completion date of April 14th. Interior work. Hope Enterprises has requested an additional 14 calendar days for time required to order, deliver, and install the ceramic tile following the acceptance of change order number 4 executed on February 17th, 2025, as well as 21 calendar days for the installation of the restroom fixtures, partitions, counters, and accessories that require the tile to be first installed. BSA recommends a time extension of 23 calendar days on the interior work for a new interior completion date of April 16th. Staff, at the recommendation of the city's consulting architect, is requesting a motion to approve the change order number 5 and the requested time extensions.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And second on the motion? Second. And do we have any discussion on the motion?
Madam Pro Tem.
Yes. Alderwoman.
Mr. Johnson, this is all due to the delay in delivery of
Yes,
material,
ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Yes.
I went to Duncan Park Clubhouse today and did a walkthrough myself, and I'll be impressed if they get it finished in that time. It's looking good,
It's looking good.
but they've got a lot of work to do. So,
We will hope that
but
they will.
yeah,
weather
it's
permits.
looking nice. It looks like they're doing good work. I think we're going to be real proud of the result.
Very good. Any other discussion? Call for the question?
Call.
And all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Johnston. And then next we have Mr. Gianni, our acting city planner.
Hello, I don't have a report. I just, I'm online to address the rezoning hearing.
Okay, please proceed and welcome. It's been a minute.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. It's great to be back, even virtually. So I'll proceed with my staff report. This is PC 2443 Glennis O'Neill at 96 East Oak Street. This is a request for a map amendment to change the property from mixed density residential R3 to neighborhood business B1. The background on this case, this is an application to rezone the property from mixed density residential R3 to neighborhood business B1. The purpose for this rezoning is to open up a small food retail establishment. The current city planner did not receive the application and is unaware of any previous conversations with the previous planner. The application states that the rezoning is for a small food retail establishment or restaurant. Restaurants are not permitted in the B1 zoning district. However, if the intent is to operate a mobile food vending establishment on the property or host mobile food vending on the property, that would be a possibility through the city's mobile food vending ordinance. At the meeting with the Planning Commission, the applicant expressed a desire to open up a small food establishment, potentially fashioned out of a small, potentially pre-manufactured building. Staff informed the commission and the applicant of the realities of the B1 zoning district, as well as the procedures involved in opening a brick and mortar restaurant. When this was being discussed, the applicant was amenable to revising his intended use to a mobile food truck or trailer to conform with the city's mobile food vending ordinance. The Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the map amendment. When evaluating map amendments, the city should consider the following criteria for section 9.1.4 of the Natchez Unified Development Ordinance. Number 1, conformance with the comprehensive plan. Number 2, otherwise that changes have occurred in the area since the planning and zoning ordinance were adopted, which warrant the requested zone. Number 3, city utilities and sewer can accommodate the uses allowable in the requested zone. 4, the allowable uses in the requested zone will not adversely affect the character of the area, negatively impact nearby properties and occupants, or result in a decrease of property values. Number 5, there is a need for additional land within the city to be zoned in the classification which is requested. Number 6, there was a mistake in the original zoning of the property. The property is situated at one of the key intersections of the historic Minorville community and borders adjacent properties zoned B1 as well as R3. The mayor and board of aldermen should take care and consider adjacent residents to see if they agree with the rationale provided by the applicant. Additionally, consideration should be given to all uses that are permitted in a B1 zoning district. And that concludes my staff report.
So just off my head, I've got some reservations about this. I'm a little confused on why it was approved. That's a neighborhood, and we do want to hear from you. It's your
Yeah,
ward. So just my thoughts are what happens when they leave, and that's a business. You know, it's been rezoned. If that truck decides to not park there anymore, and then the property gets sold, I mean, it's just opening us up. But I want to hear what the ward thinks. I'm going to defer first of all to the Alderwoman here. Irving.
Thank you. I want to share that property, the person who applied for the application, they actually own the property.
Okay,
They actually own the property, and it's a lot there now.
right.
So
I
he's-
drove past it.
Yes,
Is it
it's
the
a-
empty lot?
It's an empty lot.
Okay.
It sits right almost to the corner.
Yeah, I
but
went
it's a
by.
narrow lot right there. It is an empty lot. So I think it would be good as long as he understands that it's not a restaurant and that it's just a mobile food drive. I think that would be good. And his hours are opening from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so to abide with those hours, I think that it would be good because in that area over a period of time, when I was a youth living actually in that community, there were a number of businesses along that area. So we had a tailor, we had a person who did lawnmowers were in close proximity. We had the washateer, we had Charlie Harris Body Shop, we had the store down on another end. There were a lot of small businesses. So it was actually a neighborhood that had a lot of successful businesses in that area. So I think it's a good fit. The gentleman, Mr. O'Neill, he has been in food for a very long time, wanting to get things off the ground. He's a great cook, and food has been one of the things that has kept him grounded within our community after moving back out of state for a long period of time. And he has a very good family that's very supportive of him with this venture as well.
All right. Yes, Alderman.
I drove by there this morning and looked it over, and it's right there next to Minor Street, which is B1. Is that correct?
It's B1.
My question would be, how large an area are we just adding that one little space
That's
to
it.
B1?
That's it.
It basically enlarges the present zone just by that one lot. I kind of like the idea of, well, first of all, it's family property and they want to maintain that family property and understand the feelings of a family and wanting that continuance of ownership and the pride that you have in family property.
Absolutely.
It seems like the activity could be good for the area. And, you know, if it starts out as a food truck, if it turns into something successful, it could actually help improve
Yes.
that area, bring in more activity,
Absolutely.
as long as it's the right kind of activity.
Activity,
As long as
right.
it doesn't attract, the wrong kind of activity. And that's something that, will need to be watched, but it would certainly be in their best interest to, maybe they end up putting some security cameras up or something like that. It might really help that area.
I think so.
Mr.
Any
Johnson?
other discussion?
My only concern in this is precedent. The precedent that we set for future occasions like this, where somebody comes along and they want to change a residential area to a B1, and they're like, oh, well, you did it, folks. Of course, the fact that it's right there on the edge of an existing B1, and we're not redoing the whole neighborhood, we're really just adding that one space.
All right,
Rico?
before we move, real
Is that a
quickly,
question for Mr. Gianni?
that's what I'm gonna
Yeah, I
get
want to
to.
get his opinion.
His opinion on that, that's what I was gonna reiterate. And then I was gonna also ask him what happens when that landowner wants to sell the property.
It's in the family, but they're not going to sell.
So-
the
Or
property.
if
They're not.
for some reason.
It's-
Right. And so a key component of addressing a rezoning application is not just thinking about the intended use, the immediate intended use, but looking at all the uses that are allowed in the B1 zoning district. You know, these things are such things like, pharmacies, maybe a tax service, or a personal service establishment that can be, something low intensity. So when we're looking at rezoning, it's about the zoning district and not the intended use. So if a property owner does sell, it remains B1 and that sort of thing. So that's a key consideration. And in my staff report, I kind of allude to giving deference to the surrounding community. And so, like Alderwoman Bridgewater Irving stated, the community could, could support the expansion of business or the reestablishment of business in the Minorville community. Or on the other side, if there was a large showing of the community that didn't want the commercialization of their neighborhood, that's kind of like the comprehensive plan of Natchez, even though it's being from 1999, it addresses commercial creep into residential areas. So that may be the other side of the coin. If there's an adverse reaction from the residents and they don't want the commercialization of their street, then it wouldn't be a good idea. So it's really it could be a double-sided sword. I can't see the audience, so I don't know how many people are in support or against, but that's my take.
Is it my understanding that, is it correct that no one from the neighborhood or the street showed up at the hearing, at the planning commission meeting?
That's correct.
That's correct?
That's correct. We didn't receive any objections or anything like that.
Okay. We're going to defer now to Alderwoman Hall.
Yes, I just want clarity. Are we only talking about that corner or the entire street?
That's true.
Rezone?
Just that area.
One part.
Just that one area,
Okay.
not that, because it's
One
two lots there, it's just
Can
one
we,
portion.
yes, we need to have order, and then we'll defer that question to Mr. Gianni. So, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
No, I
saying
know.
I want to keep order. And Mr.
Okay.
Gianni, did you hear Alderwoman Hall's question?
Yes, apologies. Yes, that is that one tax parcel, just Mr. O'Neill's property. Just that one parcel is being requested to be rezoned.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one.
All right.
May I follow up?
Yes, Alderwoman Hall had a follow-up question, and then we'll,
Yes, Ms. Irving, just make sure Mr. O'Neill understands what the ordinance says about mobile
Yes,
food trucks
yes,
as
mobile
well.
food truck. I will. I will stress that, if I may add to that as well, maybe the hours, as I read here in the information that was distributed to us from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. One of the things that I would like to have a concern about is the flow of traffic. We don't need standing traffic. We need it to purchase and leave because it's mobile. They need to be able to purchase and leave, and not, because we do have some concerns about the street. We have people that will come over, purchase things, and will remain in the street. So we need to make sure that there's a steady flow of traffic flowing in that area.
I will just address that. The problem that will be the owner's responsibility. That's where you get into
Okay.
an issue. If he doesn't believe philosophically how you do on that, that's where we could end
Okay.
up with a problem, but
So we
hopefully,
just need to
but we
work
don't
with
need to
that.
have a motion yet. So,
Okay.
anyway, anybody else have any questions for Ms. Gianni before we make a motion for this?
I just want to say that I honestly think that that's a great project and great for the neighborhood. previously did.
I agree.
So would you like to make the motion?
Sure. So I make the motion that we approve, help me with that, Mr. Gianni, the zoning for B1 district
Rezoning.
for the,
Yes,
the,
the application number 2443, and it's R3 to B1.
okay.
I'll second
For
that
Apple.
motion.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you second. Any other discussion? All right, call for the question.
Call.
And all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gianni. We appreciate you being on the call tonight. All right, Ms.
Thank you.
Monroe.
Great seeing you.
Thank you.
Our Director for the Senior Citizens Center.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem.
Good evening, Ms. Monroe.
Great to be here. Good evening to the aldermen and all the women on today. I come to request travel for myself and a staff to Neil Robinson. We would like to attend the 2025 Mississippi Association of Planning and Development Conference. It's on April the 22nd through the 25th in Biloxi, Mississippi.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you all so much.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you all so much.
Thank
You're welcome.
you. And then we move to city official reports. Alderwoman Hall, do you have a report?
I just have one item. On April the 5th, we will have our symposium, Natural Together Festival of Ideas relative to civil rights. And this will be, we want to just be discussing at that symposium. We'll have 4 different panels, but we want people who are not frequently spoken of, not to be forgotten, who helped fight for the rights of Black men, women, and children in the 50s and 60s. So we want everyone to come. It's free and open to the public. We will have box lunches for everyone, 9 to 4. And at the end of that day, we will place a historical marker at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Maroney and their family at 503 Monroe Street. So we encourage you all to come. We've been receiving a great deal of positive responses to this. And a lot of people are expected to be in attendance.
Alderwoman Hall, I know you've worked hard on this.
Thank you.
And yes, and I know it will be a successful event and an important event as
It's been
well.
a team effort with the Maroney family. and me. So
We
it's
appreciate
a team
them as
effort.
well.
Thank you.
And does that conclude your report?
It does.
Okay.
And this has been heavily marketed on Facebook and the news, the Democrat, and there was an article this past weekend in the Democrat. Thank you, Ms. Jan, for that. And also, the first week of April, there will be an article in Bluff City Post as well relative to this event. So thank you all.
Thank you. All right, Alderman Frazier.
Yeah, one quick, this weekend I attended a ceremony, award ceremony held by Miss Betty Bell, Pretty Girls with Brain. This is honoring local Black women and achievement, what they have achieved in the community. This take place every year, and Miss Bell, like I say, did a wonderful job in honoring these young ladies. So I was just like, it was shout out to Ms. Bell. Thank you, Ms. Bell, and continue doing a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. She recently spoke at the program at Rotary, and there are a lot of good things going on there at the school. A lot of training and tutoring and classes, and everybody ought to check it out if you're interested in any kind of continuing education through her program. All right, how about you, Alderwoman Irving?
Yes, I want to begin with when Mr. Johnston is not here. He ended up leaving you, didn't he? I just want to thank Mr. Johnson. In our last meeting, tops were placed on the Angeletti house. So they followed through with that. And then we had a heavy rain. So that was right on time. And I just want to say thank you for following through with placing those tarps on the roof of the Angeletti building. Again, I have been receiving a lot of calls, and it's in reference to speeding in different areas of our community. I just want to ask, and I've shared with our constituents that just call 911 if they need to, if anything is needed. But I am continuing to receive calls with speeding in different areas of our community. And Chief, I'll get with you with more specific information. Thank you. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Alderman Irving. And Alderman Davis?
No report.
No report, okay. And then how about you, Alderman Maroney?
No report.
Wow, this is going to be the shortest meeting in the history of the city of Natchez, I think. It's a pretty old city, too. So we're going to ask for the city clerk's report.
Okay, I have two items. First is a request for approval of the second March 2025 claims docket.
Need a motion
So moved.
and second?
Second.
Alderman Maroney seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Second item is a request for approval of the second March 2025 mini claims docket.
Any motion?
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
Well,
Here.
not with this motion, but with the previous. Please put in the minutes that I did not. Okay,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
it for me.
I have that.
I do
I
have
see
a
we've
question,
got
but I asked
Theobald Construction on there. I'm assuming that's the one, the payment. we
Right, that
talked-
was that payment y'all approved at the last regular
Just
meeting.
want to make sure. And then the Wilmar Construction for the Auburn Pavilion. I'm assuming, I wish James was still here. I meant to look at that today when I went through Duncan Park.
I can send you a copy of the invoice that we paid.
I was just wondering if they were finished with, if they,
I'm not, I'm assuming since that was the remaining balance that they are complete
Okay.
with that, but
I know I saw them working on it one day when I was over there. So I'm,
that's certainly something I can get you the answer to.
I'll go by and look. That's it.
All right, and
Call the question.
yeah, sorry, call the question.
Call.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes. That was for the approval of the mini docket.
Mini claims docket.
And then now we're going to move to the city attorney's report.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. That will go to me, to the mayor's report. We need to formally approve the hire of our new city planner, Mingo Tingle, who will start on Monday, May 4th. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Call for the question.
Call.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes. Do we need a roll call?
Okay, Alderwoman Hall,
Aye.
Alderman Frazier,
Nay.
Alderwoman Irving,
Aye.
Alderman Davis,
Aye.
Alderman Maroney.
Aye.
All right, we look forward to welcoming Mr. Tinkle here to Natchez. He's got great experience in city planning with archives and history, and I know he's going to do a great job. And we appreciate, again, Mr. Rico stepping in for him during this time of interim. All right, we're going to move into, let's see, I've got, we want to announce that we invite any candidate, local judge, a local attorney that's interested in the position for interim municipal judge to submit resumes, and we'll proceed with interviewing. So let's see, we want the resumes in the mayor's office by the end of day on March 31st. End of day, March 31st. All right, a couple of little miscellaneous things. I'm sure we've all driven down Homachita, and I'm very, very grateful for the work that AVAC did to get that done for us on a timely basis. And we knew that a lot of tourists were going to be in town and how important this was for the safety of them, as well as the safety of all of us. And I'm so grateful to them. There are some other issues that we'll be addressing with both Homachita and Canal ongoing. So we'll keep you posted as that comes up and is reported. We also had the ribbon cutting on the bluff. And it was very, very nice. And we appreciate C&M Crawfish, who cooked crawfish, and all the proceeds went to the benefit of the stew pot. And if you haven't been to the River Room, it's beautiful. I want to thank the Ruthers. I want to thank Visit Natchez for what they've done, the Ruthers, what they've done for the River Room. And it's going to be a great asset to the convention center for event space and conference space. So I think that's going to be great down the road, and we're very, very appreciative of that. I think that's going to be it for me tonight. Very, very quick. I do want us to end in a silent prayer for Senator Butler, who's on,
Absolutely.
have some ongoing health issues, and we just pray for a speedy recovery for him. And we'll close in prayer for him. Is there anything else before we ask for a motion to adjourn? Ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
Any discussion on the motion? Please
Call
bow
the
your,
question.
all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
And bow your heads for a moment of silence of prayer. Thank you for that. And I am going to add, our mayor was away on city business, and he had a very successful meeting, and I know he will report on that when he's back in town. So let's be with him, pray for him for travel, safe travel. Thank you very much.
Good job.